I also was always questioning, do I truly understand love? We're gonna go through that in another topic. But I discovered that I know how to love because the pain was the evidence of love. And I cried so much. Oh my God. But
Candy?
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
very nurturing. We are close to the full moon, which is tomorrow, the last full moon of the year, which is like a banger. I'm actually quite excited for it. There's this energy of letting go that's been in the atmosphere. Like a lot of people, we just like letting go. Like as a collective, there's a lot of letting go to make space for whatever is coming. And I've seen so much preparation going into this for a while now, like within this year. Like even think about how Cat Williams kickstarted the year off. It was like exposure, but it was like really bringing us into like a sort of awakening us essentially that whatever is in the darkness is going to come to light. And that could be seen as its own process of letting go because once it comes to light, we deal with things. And when we deal with things, you know, we can let them rest. So that's what like this year has been about. That has been a consistent theme I have seen not only in my life, but everywhere around me, where it's just like a lot of stuff that was in the dark that's hiding is coming out. And we are all having have we all have had to deal with our inner darkness, so to speak. And if you didn't, well, I don't. You missed out because this was the year for it. But I've seen that consistent theme where it might have just been Cat Williams. It wasn't just him exposing all these other people. It was also whatever is in us that will hinder us going forth. We've had to deal with. And the best gift I give myself, right? I spoke about this in the video intro. The best gift I gave myself throughout this season was my was the gift to be wrong. To say, yo, if I am gonna explore this thought process, and along the way, if I find out I am wrong, I am willing to take that and say I am wrong and learn what is right. And when you go, and alongside that, I was like, I'm going to start embracing the cringe. That was also something I was like, I need this. If I'm going to expose myself, I have to fully embrace the cringe that comes with it. There's a quote where they say the cost is embarrassment. And that changed my life. It's like, you're going to have to embarrass yourself at some point. You're going to have to try something that feels alien to you in order to, you see, like that's where the goals are always changing. But in order to step into who you're becoming, in order to change, to evolve, to grow, there's going to be need to put yourself in new experiences that are going to feel uncomfortable. Oh. And one of the things I did, amongst a lot of things, is so let's just recap. Right? Let's just recap the last 4 years, 5 years. Right? I I joined a church, and then I left it. I started questioning my beliefs. I started questioning my inherited beliefs as a child. When I was a child, my inherited beliefs from community beliefs, like being we are black people and we have inherited beliefs. I started questioning my beliefs of who I am in the grand scheme of things. And it was like simple questions like, why do I close my eyes when I pray? And I couldn't answer that. And because I couldn't come up with answers to certain fundamental questions, I was like, yo, this things need to change. And I was also dissatisfied with life in general. Like it's like I was just there and life was happening and I was watching life happen. And wherever life decided to happen in the direction, I would just go and I would look for things to give myself the illusion of control. Like, oh, I'm actually in control. And there's a lot of stuff that give you the illusion that you're in control of your life. And I would even ask myself, why do I feel the need to be in control? Like, why? What part of me, what aspect of me is nudging me to say, Ozzy, be in control, you know? And in those same 5 years, I've watched myself liberate myself from old beliefs, right? Sorry, we were recapping what happens. I don't know if I have ADHD, but like, oof, I saw a lot of symptoms, even like autism, like that whole spectrum, just like, ooh. And I actually understand that that's the stigma we're trying to go against. It's also crazy how, if you're gonna go to a park, this is a park to go to. I've been here on this stone, on this rock rather, for almost 2 hours now, and no one has passed by. So that's kind of like good for privacy. This is on a Saturday morning, actually. So shout out. Um, so in the 5 years, I went through my very first like official heartbreak, like cheating type heartbreak. Devastated me, crushed me. I cried. Like I'd never like I've cried in relationships, and it was tears of like love. But I've also was always questioning, do I truly understand love? We're gonna go through that in another topic. But I discovered that I know how to love because the pain was the evidence of love. And I cried so much. Oh my God. But it crushed me. I, this same 5 years, I started a new job, new career path. Well, I went into a new job, was there for like 6 months, hated it, quit in this economy. Okay, over the last like since 2014 when I left high school, right? I have had 13 jobs. How many people can say that in this economy? And not like tiny jobs, especially for someone who didn't go to varsity. I find that very impressive, like to have had so many options. And I found out I am my own limitations. I am at the center of my own limitations. No one else. Like I can't blame anyone. So I was in a state of like I'm growing. Let's get into this new job type thing, right? And I was exploring creativity, web design, and marketing. So I started this new job. 6 months. I hated it. Yo, if that honor, I'm not gonna tell his race, but I hate when people live up to their stereotypes. But if this guy could pay employees 1 rand, which is like it's cents, it's like a penny, he would do it. If the law allowed him to, he would do it. But yeah, that's how bad it was, and it was stressing me out, like to a point where even physically I was unable to function. So I quit, and then I went to a new agency where it was young people, and it was completely new, different experience. It was new race groups as well, but all of us millennials, and it was a startup, and I saw what it's like firsthand to work with multi-passionates, to work with people who are passionate about what they do. I thought I was passionate about design, and then I met this wonderful. Um, because we were all young. It's hard to say my boss. We were like colleagues, but meeting this colleague who is so passionate about design, down to the pixel. She will tell you like, listen, this thing is off by a pixel. I don't know if you guys will understand. Like a pixel is like tiny, but she'll see it and it's like it's off center by a pixel. I'm like, no, I literally went and pressed align to center, and it's like, no, but it doesn't matter. It's off, and then you would measure and be like, sure, it's actually is. Seeing people that are like that are passionate about their craft changed me. That happened in the last 2 years. I also, on top of that, then was like, you know what? I am gonna learn how to DJ and put myself out there. That's also something to talk about because I learned so much about myself from that experience because I was exposing myself. I am at heart an introvert. I used to. This was my old narrative. I did not like people. Oh, oh. And I eventually, through this journey, I learned why I don't like people It's just childhood trauma that's been chilling, where I never felt like I belonged. I parented myself for the most part growing up. So I'm very comfortable with myself. I've never in my life, or recently I did, but like for the most part, I've never seen myself as I'm lonely. I'm alone. I've always seen it. No, I'm just with myself, going through life. That's how I'd seen it, and I thought it was healthy. I was like, yeah, everyone should learn to be with themselves, partly, but it was just trauma sitting there saying, yo, we literally we're conditioned to be alone and not feel lonely. It was the condition. So yeah, that happened in the last 3 years, and that same agency I joined, beautiful agency. One day I woke up and I decided I am going to stop. I'm going to quit. There was nothing wrong. I was getting a good salary. I was learning so much. I was even being put in positions where I can grow. I was going to be uh, a shareholder, a director, and they were doing well actually. Like I saw the figures. We were making like up close to R1 million per year. Not up close. We were surpassing that actually. And to have let that go, I had to like introspect on like what part of me is self-sabotaging. So I learned a lot of self-sabotaging habits I had within myself. And like I said, at the center of your destiny is you. Is you. At the center of your limiting beliefs is you. At the center of your self-sabotage is you. It's always so funny. Like if you just examine the state of your life, and then you examine who is at the center of that. Like I mean, from a deeper aspect, really ask who is at the center of that, and then you start listing the qualities of that person who's at the center of that chaos, and then you see it's like it is me. Even the fact that I'm doing this is weird to me because I thought I had to have a script, but so far, well, you guys will be the judge of that. I think it's going great. Like I think it's going great. You know. Um. So that's been the 5 years, and in the last couple of months leading up to this, there was this. I met someone, and I was so convinced this is the person for me. Even till now, like my heart is like this is the person for me, and I had to let go. I had to let go because I saw what it was now conditioning me internally, even to her, like what the love was doing, and I was like, I had this analogy where it's like we can always place that love in a box. We don't have to open the door that the love is trying to lead us. We can both make the conscious choice to say we are grateful for this love, as short-lived as it was, and place it in a box and place it on a shelf. One day, look at it, and from our individual lives, and like, man, that was a beautiful love, And I don't get why, as human beings, we don't allow ourselves to feel. At some point, it's like those are people, all the people you like date are pieces of you. Even the pain you go through, it's pieces of you. It's what made you in one aspect or another. It grows you. It's part of your experience. So I don't know why we like. I know we're not supposed to bring it into our future, like, isn't hold on to it and clutch it and ruminate. But we're supposed to look at it and honor it. All your partners, honor them. Your exes, honor them. I don't like this culture where we're like, oh, my ex, who's Saturn? Like, I have one that I do say to that, but I say it jokingly. Because in a deeper aspect, I am grateful for that experience because through that experience, I learned about me. There's a scene in The Matrix.
How can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it. I thought you'd have figured that out by now.
Why are you here?
Same reason. I love candy.
You see how he asks like a redundancy in the choice. Like, I don't really have a choice because you already know what the choice is. That this is now the divine representation of the divine, like the choice. But he says, the oracle says, no, you're not here to make the choice. And that made me understand the whole predestination thing. Like, the divine understanding, like God understanding your path to life, like every choice you're gonna make. You're not here to make the choice. You're here to understand why you have made the choice. And that just makes me understand the universe even more. I was like, oof, this is it. So just going back, we're gonna go back, touch on that. We're bringing it back to the subject matter, which is like it's like if you dare start asking yourself questions like, why did I have to go through this experience? Why did I subscribe? Why did I choose to get into these relationships when I was this person? And the more you start to understand why, the more you start to understand yourself, your true self, your inner self, your conscious self, your subconscious self, and the vastness of the universe we're in, and you're in it. And when you start to do that, you're grateful. It changes your perception. You start being grateful. You start to honor every soul that comes in your life because you understand that you have subscribed somewhere along the lines, somewhere before you came into this world. I am still trying to understand the idea of soul contracts, but I do know that, like, even in the Bible, there's that verse where God is like, I knew you before you were born. And I was like, bars. And that means somewhere before I came into this particular plane or dimension, somewhere I was conscious. I was fully conscious. And I think that's whatever that being is, whatever that thing is what in this consciousness we are working towards connecting deeply with and moving away from everything we have told ourselves we are. Like, who are you? You know? Um so that's like a consistent theme. Uh, the consistent themes over the last 5 years, right? Of learning. And inner child healing was a big one. Like, I went through therapy. Like, I did therapy on 3 different levels. And I think for anyone who's doing therapy, please do it on these 3 levels from a holistic levels. I've started to awaken more to holistic living. So on the first level, which is when we say therapy, we think about like your mental health, like what's going on in your brain, you know, the physical shell that holds your mind, right? And examining that. And speaking of the physical, the Nash explained was um, your body, what you're putting in it, your exercising habits, all of those things. And then the third one is your spiritual self now. Within the mind now, you're going into like that deeper place. And shout outs to my previous job, honestly. Shout out to them. They So for one of the years for my yearly bonus, they set me down. They're like, yeah, we could give you all this money because A, you deserve it. It's yours. Or we could partner up to invest in yourself and take you to learn transcendental meditation. That was something I learned and I did consistently for 1 year. And trust me, I saw as a creative, I saw how it changed my creativity. I grew so much in that year from just doing transcendental meditation, which is sitting in silence for like 24 minutes twice a day, 20 minutes. The 4 minutes is to exit the state of meditation you'll be in. And you sit in silence and it's backed by like science. It's not a spiritual practice, it's more a scientific practice of understanding the brain and how it works. So it's to quiet your mind and you repeat a mantra till that mantra fades away and there's just bliss. There's nothing. You're gone. You start transcending. It is so dope. Like it is so dope. You should try. So yeah, those were the 3 planes in which I started working on myself. So starting with the physical, I went into the gym, joined a new gym, and again, that is another experience of itself I need to share on later. I'm also saying this to bookmark because this is the first episode. I just want to make sure I have enough things to talk about later. Um, I went to the gym, I joined the gym, and yeah, we were building the guns. I haven't been for like a minute, but I remember just wanting to show off pretty much everywhere. Because I was like, child, I deserve this. When you see me taking my shirt off and showing off my body, leave me alone. This is where I came from. You have to understand that. You see your picture right there? This is where I was coming from. So please let me enjoy the fruits of my labor in peace. And going to the gym, honestly, I started to change my perception on. I know we do this mainly to women when they are showing their bodies, their work. When you go to the gym and you work on your body, it's an art form. It truly is an art form to sculpt different parts of your body to make them look how you want them to look. Of course, now society, obviously, we then come in and change things. Like every time we're changing what's aesthetic and what's not. But the idea behind it is sculpting your body to become this very new version of yourself. And it takes so much work, so much discipline. It is a lot of work. And that's what you celebrate after, because you come out and you've gone through the process itself. Like to build muscle, you have to cause trauma to your muscles. You have to tear them. Like there has to be breakages. And you have to inflict muscle trauma. And by inflicting muscle trauma, guess what? They come back together and they grow. And it's that growth that is absolutely insane. That, like, for me, is just like, and that's the growth you celebrate. So even with women, I now look at it differently when they are on Instagram showing off what they've worked on. If you stop looking at things from like the way we've been conditioned to sexualize everything, you start to see things differently. You're able to celebrate with them because like you're like, I understand what you had to go through in order to get there, you know, and all that work. So you start to have like a profound respect of, profound respect of like the art form itself. So that was what's happening, yeah, that was actually that was the first time per person walking in. So that was what's happening on the physical front of things. And yeah, the gym really helped a lot because now it made my mind stable. It also just allowed me to calm a little bit. And it also was a place where I could, any stress, any frustrations, I could take them out on the gym. The next one was I checked into therapy, online therapy. I was like, I wasn't like broke, but like, yeah, I couldn't like really afford it. So I used this app called Better Up, and I first started with their shadow work prompt. I encourage everyone to do shadow work. I know the term doesn't sound fancy, and the moment you hear it, you're like, ooh. But think of it this way: you have a shadow. This is my shadow here. It's always there, and we don't do enough. It sounds like someone is clapping cheeks, but sorry, sorry. Um, we don't do any. So when it comes to the shadow, we don't do enough job of like acknowledging it, seeing its existence, but it's there, and sometimes so it's aspects of ourselves that we repress and we keep them locked up, you know, but they are there. So shadow work is trying to unearth them, see the shadow for what it is, your shadow, and embrace all those aspects of you, because by doing so, you can release what is not yours. Yeah, yo, this clapping is crazy. So that's like a vibe. And then like the other thing, so I started working on that shadow work initially from Better Up, and then I followed it up with what's this? On the same Better Up, they had like free 3 sessions, and I got in there, and this was just after the trauma I faced from the breakup I had 3 years ago. 2 years ago, I don't know anymore. Put it in the dates there, but because of that trauma, I was so broken. I was like, I need help, and I checked in. I checked in a lot. So I had 3 sessions, and it was so nice. It was someone with that was in America, but they've traveled to Africa to understand the culture. So I wanted someone who was out of my space of thinking and limitations, and had new experiences because they can view my life from a different perspective and lens. So it was perfect. Like we were like, yeah, it was nice. First session we hit it off nicely, and I thought I was gonna get in there and like talk about all these like crazy things, but I didn't. I should have actually spoken about this last, and I'll tell you why shortly. But I went to the therapy after. It was gym, it was spiritual work, and then it was therapy. And I'll tell you why I did that in that order as well. It wasn't just accessibility, but yeah. So when I went into therapy, like we connected, and she basically helped me realize areas that I actually was neglecting when it came to myself. I thought we were going to focus on healing and like trauma and what I had done that shook me. Part of what that breakup, what shook me was realizing the monster within. We'll talk about that in a later video. So that shook my system. I was like, I never had been angry in my life ever, but that was the first time I released anger out of me. I didn't. There was no like violence to anyone, um, but I saw it and I was like, shit, it scared me. So I worked on that. See how like I'm becoming emotional because it's very emotional. But anyways, moving on. So she, I'm gonna show you when I get home what the prompt was. It was what I expected, but she gave me a prompt about myself to work on, and it was nice. And then the third plane on which I worked on was spirituality, and how that actually happened was in that relationship. It was very spiritually challenging me to see life from a different perspective. And I embraced it because I was also just going through my own cognitive dissonance. I was like, it wouldn't hurt. And there was like differences in beliefs, which was very interesting to navigate. But I know I needed someone to help me spiritually with all these questions I had that some would very much find taboo. And having the awakening of the divine masculine within me was like saying, yo, yeah, you've neglected me for a long time, but now we need to get to work, my boy. So I needed someone, and the way I found this person now was through Twitter. I hardly use Twitter, but like I just went, and it was as if like I'm being led. And I typed a specific phrase because I was like, I need someone who's in alignment with this. And sure, the right person popped up, number one. And I sent this lady a text, and she was from Zim. So culturally, she understands me. And she was someone who walked a similar journey. I didn't even know her. Like, I didn't know her. And when I sent her an inbox, her response to me was as if it was someone who was waiting for me to come. And that's a new lesson I've learned. Like, whatever it is you're searching for, whatever you want, whatever it is you desire, all of it is already there and it's waiting for you. I wrote this now today. Sure, yeah, that's another topic to get into. But whatever it is, that was an indication, like whatever it is I want, I'm looking for, whatever experiences, it's already there and it's waiting for me. So that was her response. And she was like, cool. And I told her what I did. Like I sent a long paragraph. I wanted to grasp the the depth of why I need this. Like to take me seriously. And then she brushed it off. She was like, that's nothing. I've done worse. You chill, child, chill. But don't want. And I was like, no, you need to understand. It was like, no. Escawar. That was so funny, man. And she took me on a journey as well, where we went to like a 21 day. It's not a fast, but it was like our 21 days of it was our 21 days of not meditation. I'll do you the course we went to, but it was like understanding abundance. And she said through it, you're gonna understand how to awaken your divine masculine within yourself. Because yeah, mine was dead, bro. Like I grew up in a very feminine environment, so I took on feminine traits, which is dope, but I in imbalance within myself. So I needed to have balance. And I was aware of that. So we went on this journey, 21 days, and after that 21 days, again, she was just there to support me. I started having vivid dreams, like crazy vivid dreams, child. I have a dream journal. We'll go through that as well. Um, and yeah, that was nice. And all of these experiences happened because I allowed myself to be wrong in the first place. So, gym, spirituality, and when I was done with spirituality, you know, when in the Bible, it was Jesus who says, you go to the healer, the prophets, whoever, they heal you. And after that, he would send people where? To the doctor. The doctor confirms the healing. So after I'd done all these 21 days, that's when I went to Better Up. And Better Up, when I was in that session, the therapist, the doctor, confirmed my healing by just like seeing other areas. Instead of seeing what I thought was the issue as an issue and it had been solved, she showed me other things now, with other areas to work on, to move forward. And it was so reassuring, man. And I was like, okay, I get it. And the gym also was helping me anchor me to keep it going on, because now you have discipline, you have routines, your mind state is fresh alongside meditation. It was helping now to uncover those parts of me, to accept. Self-acceptance is a big one. So if you were to get a message from this video, is that give yourself the gift to be wrong and allow yourself to let go. I hated this phrase because it's so new age. People say it a lot, like let go of what no longer serves you. We will literally hold on, knowingly and unknowingly, to things in our life that are causing more harm than any good, that are hindering our own growth, that are getting in the way of the life we aspire and desire to live, the life we have collectively been called to live on this planet. So those are the things that I've started to look at differently. It might be a popular term, but I'm looking at it differently. So let go. Let go in this season. Start letting go. The year is still here. We have December. This is the perfect time also because it's holidays. There's not a lot to distract us. But start letting go and give yourself the gift to be wrong. Say, I am going to express myself, and with whatever way I choose to express myself to the world and with the world, I'm going to allow myself to be wrong. I'm going to allow my old ideas that I hold on to so strongly, my beliefs that I hold on to so strongly, I'm going to allow myself to venture in them deeper and question, and allow myself to say where I might have been wrong. How can I be right? Like, embrace the idea that you might actually be wrong on an idea, and watch how that's going to transform your life. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this thing recorded. Oh, yeah. Cheers.
No.
You have the sight now, Neo. You are looking at the world without time.
Then why can't I see what happens to her?
We can never see past the choices we don't understand.
Are you saying I have to choose whether Trinity lives or dies?
No. You've already made the choice. Now you have to understand it.
No. I can't do that. I won't.
You have to.
Why?